Okay, so first I want to start out by explaining what comes in the actual customizable starter kit. The starter kit I'm going to be talking about, I don't actually have like the box to show you because I bought mine, I mean, probably about 6 months ago, and there's really no need for me to replace it right now. But I want to just describe to you what comes in the starter kit. Now the starter kit I'm talking about is the customizable starter kit, which is you're going to be able to find it everywhere. You're going to be able to find it at your local retailers. You're going to be able to find it in Sephora, Ulta. It's just the original starter kit. So the only thing you can really customize in this actual starter kit is the foundations, which is what I'm going to talk about first. You can choose from your original, matte, or ready foundation to place in this starter kit. So first, obviously, I'm going to start out talking about the original because this is what I use in most of my videos. The original foundation is really, honestly, in my opinion, good for all skin types. You can get the same coverage as you can get with the matte. It does have the mineral mica in it, so that's what gives you more of the luminous finish. That is why the original foundation is so popular, because it does have that naturally luminous finish without making you look oily. So this is my preference for the foundation. I do have very dry skin. I have a lot of moisturizer on right now, so it'll soak in while I'm doing this before I actually do the demo. The next foundation is the matte formula. As you can see, it's going to look exactly the same as the original. The only thing that's going to be different is you can see on the lid, this actually isn't a matte foundation, it's an original foundation, but the difference is the matte foundation is going to say matte, whereas the original foundation is going to say original right here underneath the Bare Minerals logo. So the matte foundation is really great for if you have more of an oilier skin type, or if you have more problematic skin type like enlarged pores. The matte foundation, I believe it does not have the mineral mica in it, which gives it more of a matte finish. So a lot of people with oily skin tend to go for this foundation. It also is clinically proven to minimize the appearance of your pores. I have not used it long enough to know, how it works on me, but I know personally a lot of customers who love it and swear by it, and they would prefer it over the original. So I would say if you have a tendency to have a little bit more of a problematic skin, try out the matte. I do want to throw this out there that the colors, in my opinion, between the matte and the original are slightly off. I believe that the matte foundations are a tad bit darker than the original. That's just, what I've kind of found by using these. But it's not going to be anything to where you should have to change your color. You may just have to keep a lighter hand on it, if you're in between like a light and a medium. But I have found that the pigmentation is a little bit darker in the two. The next one, of course, is the Ready foundation. Now, the Ready foundation is going to be your compact press foundation. This is described as a natural finish. So the way I describe it to customers is it's somewhere between a luminous and a matte finish. It's not really luminous, doesn't have like a lot of luminosity to it, but it's not completely matte. I personally think if you add mineral veil to anything, it mattifies your entire face, but that's just my opinion. The Ready foundation is going to be, in my opinion, it does feel a little bit heavier on the skin, but it's not anything like liquid. It's not anything that's going to gross you out. But I really enjoy the Ready foundation for whenever I have extremely dry skin. This is considered a hydrating foundation, but Bare Minerals does throw a discretion out there that this will work on any skin type. I personally think this foundation is going to be a hit or miss for you. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I found that people with enlarged pores tend to not go towards this foundation. I don't know if it's because the formula is just a tad bit thicker. I don't really know, but this tends to either work wonderfully for people, or it's kind of a miss for people. So I personally, for anyone who has not tried Bare Minerals before, I recommend just going for the original. It's what they're famous for. It's what people love. It's why Bare Minerals is so popular now. So anytime someone comes in and they want to try Bare Minerals, I always recommend the original foundation, just because it's tried and true and people love it. So these are the 3 foundations that you can choose from: your original, your matte, or your Ready foundation. Okay, so next I want to talk about the brushes that are going to come in your kit. the most expensive part about the kit, in my opinion, is the brushes, because if you buy these brushes separately, you're going to be looking at over $70. So this is a great value. This is a great way to get your brushes. The first one you're going to get is the Full Flawless Face Brush. This is the largest brush that is going to come in the kit. It's going to give you the fullest coverage. It's a little bit denser and fuller than the rest of the brushes. So if you're looking for more of a full coverage, definitely go for this brush. The next brush that's going to come in the kit is the Flawless Face Brush. Now, as you can see, it's smaller. It's a little less denser, and obviously it's a little flatter, but once you start using it, it'll kind of buff out a little bit. I personally think that this is the best brush that you could ever own by Bare Minerals, just because it is so good at, you can use it for so many things. It's a multitasking brush. You can use this for your foundation. This is going to give you a light to medium coverage. I personally think you can still get full coverage with it as long as you keep building up your foundation. You can use this for warmth. You can use this for mineral veil. You can use this for blush. It's such a good brush to have, because if you travel a lot, you can leave your full flawless face at home, and you can take your flawless face with you and throw this in your travel bag, and you can use it for so many different things. So this is the brush that I think you really get your money's worth out of. And you would think that I would say the Full Flawless Face, but this one you can just use for so many different things. I can't tell you how many times I have traveled or I've just been gone and I just throw this little guy in my bag and he does everything. So that is the Flawless Face Brush. The last brush you're going to get is the Maximum Coverage Concealer Brush. This is just a flat concealer brush. The kit does not come with concealer, so I want to throw that out there. I will show you how you can use your foundation as concealer. It's a pretty neat trick. If you don't have like severe acne or anything, then you can totally just use your foundation as concealer. So the Maximum Coverage Concealer Brush, a lot of people who don't wear concealer like to use this as an actual eyeshadow brush. So just like a large eyeshadow brush, it would work fine for. So this is, you know, kind of a multitasking brush too. Okay, so the last three products are all makeup products. And by the way, the sizes that I'm showing you are the sizes you're going to get in the starter kit. So everything up until now is going to be a full size product. So the next size product is actually a small product. This is the Prime Time Foundation Primer. This is obviously the mini one. It's still going to last you a good while. You don't need a lot of it. What the primer does is it helps to fill in any pores, fine lines, wrinkles. It's going to help your foundation stay on longer, and it's going to give you an overall just a fuller coverage look, in my opinion. The next product is the Warmth, which I know is infamous for being awful. It's infamous for being, some people love it, some people hate it. I'm going to do a really focus on this in this video so you can see how to properly use it, because in my last video a lot of people were like, I'm so afraid of the Warmth, it looks orange, I don't know how to use it. So I want Warmth to be your friend, not your enemy. So I'm going to go over how to use the Warmth in a second. The last product you're going to get is the Mineral Veil. This is a medium size mineral veil, so it's not a mini, it's a medium size, just like your Warmth. It will still last you a good while. Mineral Veil is the translucent setting powder, so this is what you're going to put on last after you do your blush, your bronzer, your foundation, your concealer. It just gives your makeup more of a finished look. I also think it helps to mattify your skin. Again, if you're oily, this is great to touch up with instead of just going back in with your foundation and adding more, you know, powder to your skin. The Mineral Veil is really, really great to touch up with. Okay, so now I want to show you how to properly apply this. I want to show you how much you need to use. I want to show you how much warmth you need to use, what the brushes can be used for. So if you guys are interested in seeing how to apply the Bare Minerals starter kit, then just keep on watching. Okay, so first I'm going to start out with my primer. I only take about a pea-size amount on my hand, and I kind of tap together to get it on both fingers. And what you want to do with your primer is you want to place it in the areas where you have the largest pores, where you have more wrinkles, just things that you really want this primer to fill in. So for me, I find that my pores tend to show up right through here, generally where most people do. This is a gel primer, and it does feel kind of silicone-y when you get it on, but it makes your skin feel so smooth. This is the original primer. I know in my videos a lot of the times I like to use the brightening primer, but you do get the original in the starter kit, which in my opinion is just as good as the brightening. I just really like the brightening for summertime. So you just evenly distribute it throughout your face. I kind of tap it in after I rub it just to make sure everything is just patted into my skin. And then what I tend to do is I wait about 2 minutes for it to just kind of set so the foundation is going to lay better. This isn't really essential, but I just like to do it. You can apply your foundation right after that, but I think it is recommended that you just let it sit for, you know, not even 2 minutes, maybe about 60 seconds. So I'm going to let this sit and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you how to actually apply the foundation, and this is probably the most important step that I'm going to be showing you. I've done this in several videos, but I've replied to comments to people telling you how to do this, but I know not everyone gets a chance to read those. The biggest complaints that I have are my foundation is not staying on all day and I cannot get a full coverage look with the foundation. So I really want to address that right now because that is the biggest issue that I probably have as an employee working at a Bare Minerals store. People coming in, they don't know how to apply it or it's just coming off. So I really want to go over that right now. So what I'm going to do is I have the original foundation in medium right now. So this is C25. If you want me to go do a video separately on how to choose your color, I can definitely do that. But I'm just going to leave that out. Okay, so what I always tell people, if you aren't getting full coverage and if it's coming off towards the end of the day, there is literally one trick that I can give to you, and it's not even really a trick, it's something that you should do all the time. And this is really going to sound cliche, but less is more. So start using less. The biggest problem that people, or the biggest thing that people do is they just dump their foundation all into their container and they get a ton of foundation. They take their brush, they swirl it, and they just throw it on really quickly. If you do that, that is why you're not getting a full coverage look, and it's why your makeup isn't staying on. You really have to take the time to work this into your skin. And by taking your time, I mean for 5 minutes, literally. It doesn't take long to do it. So really, you've got to use very small amounts, which I'm going to show you how much I use per application. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you how much I use. I can't really describe this in terms of like dime size, nickel size. I literally just sprinkle the foundation in. So I'm going to zoom in and show you. This is how much foundation I use per application, and this is how much foundation I recommend everyone use per application. You basically barely use any. So if you're taking a lot of your foundation, if you're taking more than this, I mean, you can do a tad bit more than this, but I really wouldn't recommend it. Then just lay off a little bit on the foundation and just try it out and see how it works for you, because I promise you, if you take the time to just work this into your skin, it's going to look a lot better and you're going to get better results with the foundation. Okay, so now that I've showed you how much I use, I'm going to take my full flawless face brush. You want to swirl the minerals around for probably about, I would say, 5 to 7 seconds. Just get the minerals warmed up. You always tap off the excess. You should just be able to see a little bit in the brush. And then you just start buffing in circular motions. So what I was talking about whenever I said take the time to buff this into your skin, this is what I'm meaning. Don't just throw it on really quickly, go grab some more, throw it on. Buff this into your skin. I mean, literally, even when you think you don't have any foundation in your brush, you really do. So you just really want to take the time to work this into your skin and distribute the minerals evenly throughout your face, and you'll get better results with it. I promise you, I've had people come in and ask me why they aren't getting full coverage and why it's coming off, and I've told them to do this, and probably every single person that I've told has come in and said, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what a difference that makes. So I promise you, I'm not just telling this you just to be telling you. I'm promising you that it does work. This will also help you to save your foundation because you're not dumping so much into the lid and you're not going in and grabbing more. You're just really taking the time to work it into your skin. So there's not really much left in the lid, but again, I'm just going to go in and grab whatever's left, and I'm going to focus that on my chin. And again, this is the full flawless face brush. So this is the brush that is going to give you the most coverage. And like I said, with the brushes, I normally replace mine every 6 months. I do have multiple brushes, so it kind of just depends when I go in and I get new ones. Okay, so this, you can see the difference in this side and this side of my face just by that much. So that was one application. You can see my skin tone is a little bit more evened out, where over here you can still see where I have my freckles. You can still see where I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation. So again, I'm just going to go in with that same amount of foundation, not a lot. So I'm just going to sprinkle. That's the key here, is just to sprinkle. Sprinkle, you can't even see it whenever I show you from back here. And I'm just going to swirl it for a few seconds, tap off the excess, and then buff it into my skin. So you want to repeat this until you get the coverage that you want. So if you're a light coverage person, you're probably going to need to do this about 3 times, maybe. I am more of a medium to full coverage person, so I go in and do this about 3 times per side of my face. So I'll go in, I'll tap, I'll swirl, tap it off, and I'll do that for about 3 times per side of my face because I feel like that's really all that I need to get the medium to full coverage. And again, it's using less that's really going to make a difference. Another thing that I want to mention is whenever I sprinkle this out, you're going to have the click lock system with these containers. So you're going to have 4 holes to sprinkle your foundation out. I open about half of a hole, of an actual hole in this to sprinkle my foundation out. So that's really all that you need to open. That's again going to help to save your foundation. It's going to help your foundation last longer. But I just open up about half of one of the holes in the click lock container just to get the right amount, and I sprinkle probably 2 or 3 times to get the actual foundation out. Okay, so this is going to be my last application. I just tapped a little bit more off, and I'm going to swirl it one more time, tap out the excess, and just buff it in. Okay, so this is about the coverage that I'm going to go with today. It's about a light to medium. I could definitely do more if I wanted to, but this is just what I'm going to stick with today. Again, I mentioned how you can use your actual foundation as a concealer. So if you have a freckle or a blemish that you want to cover up, again, just take a little bit into your actual lid, take your maximum coverage concealer brush. And so I have a freckle right here that I'm just going to focus on a little bit more covering, because I don't know if it's a mole or a freckle. It's like a meckle, a mole and a freckle, because it's not little enough to be a freckle, but it's not big enough to be a mole, so it's kind of in between. So you can see that helped to blur that out just a little bit. I normally don't do that. I normally do just go in with either my Bisque or my Well Rested, which are the powder concealers from Bare Minerals. But you know, if you're more of a light coverage person and you don't really deal with concealer, that's a good way just to get extra coverage and extra use out of your foundation. Okay, so the next part is probably going to be your best friend, or it's going to be your worst enemy, and it is warmth. And I promised that I would do a definite tutorial over this in this video, so I'm going to show you. I know I showed you in the last video how much I use, but I'm just going to show you how much to apply and how I apply it personally to my face. Warmth is an all over face color, so this is technically, in my opinion, it's a bronzer, but a lot of people, I like to use this as for blush. So if you have really fair skin, you may be able to just use this as blush and get away with that. That's still going to add color to your face without overwhelming yourself. Okay, so this is how much I have in the lid right now. Barely any. It's just the excess from where I did not have the holes closed on my cap, and there's just a tiny bit. So I'm going to first show you this, how I use this, and then I'll go in and show you how much I sprinkle in the lid. Okay, so I'm going to take my Warmth and I'm going to take my Flawless Face Brush. So this is the shorter brush, the one that I said is great for multitasking. And I'm basically just going to swirl the product around, again for probably about the same amount, just a few seconds. Tap off your excess. If you're working with a little amount like that, then you probably don't need to tap off the excess, but just to be on the safe side. So again, like I showed you in my last video, I start out by contouring with Warmth. That way, the more concentrated color is going to be in the contoured areas of your face rather than using it all over just for, you know, whenever you first dab it into the lid and you just throw it on your face. That could be a problem for some people. So I tend to just take it and use it to start out contouring. And I think Warmth is a really beautiful color just to contour with. I mean, I think it is a really, really nice color. You just have to be careful with it. Okay, so you can see I have a little bit more definition on this side of my face than on this side. It looks flat. You can see where I have a little bit of contour right here. So next I'm going to go in and show you how much I sprinkle in the lid, which I did in my last video. But for those of you got a hair, so I got a hair in my little lid right here. That's one thing with the brushes is they do shed, but you know, I think they're still good. So I'm going to show you how much I tap into the lid. Let me zoom in. Okay, so this is all that I use. Do you see how much is in here? Especially if you have fair skin. I'm at about a light to medium skin tone right now, but if you have fair skin, do not use more than this. Barely sprinkle this into the lid. Again, just gradually build up your coverage. Amount to the lid. If you are using more than this, then this is probably why you're having such an issue with the Warmth. So with Bare Minerals in general, you don't have to use a lot. I guess that's what I'm trying to get with in this, or where I'm trying to get at in this video. I think the biggest problem is that people tend to overuse the products, and that's where you're going to find that it's not setting in your skin properly. That's where you're going to find that you're running out more, and that's where you're going to find that it's not staying on your skin as much throughout the day. So what I do after I contour and I just have a little bit of excess left over, I just use that all over. Okay, so your last step is your mineral veil, and this is just the translucent powder. As you can see, you don't need a lot. Really with mineral veil, I personally don't think you can put too much on. I touch up throughout the day with mineral veil rather than my foundation, so it's not really adding any, you know, thickness to my skin. It's really just kind of mattifying my skin and evening out my complexion. So I take my Flawless Face Brush, I swirl a little bit around, and then gently pat off the excess. And this just goes all over your skin. If you have oily skin in your T-zone, you can really just focus it there, but I place it everywhere. And that is pretty much it. So again, this is a light to medium coverage. Really, the whole thing with Bare Minerals is evening out your complexion. It's not about masking your face, although you can if you want to with Bare Minerals, but it's really just about evening out your complexion. So this is pretty much the starter kit. I am going to do my eyes and I will be right back. I'm not going to put blush on or anything, just so you can kind of see what the overall look is like, because I know it looks different once you get your eye makeup on. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is pretty much it. This is all I do. This is a light to medium coverage. Just remember, a little goes a long way and less is more with the starter kit. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, so just kidding. That wasn't the end of the video. I filmed this video at about 7:45 this morning, and the card got full, so that's why I kind of did that really quick last clip. But it is now 6:45, so I've had my makeup on for almost 12 hours. And so this is what it looks like. This is the complete starter kit. I did add a little bit of blush once I got to work. I'm wearing Golden Gate blush. Not a lot. I still have on the exact same makeup I showed you in that last clip. I really was not meaning to make that so snappy. But I just wanted to go over a couple more things. that is pretty much it. That is all you have to do. As you can see throughout the day, it kind of blends into your skin a little bit better. It looks a little bit more natural. It's very easy. It's not complicated, and I highly recommend doing the starter kit if you have never tried Bare Minerals before. You're going to get everything you need. So that is my pretty much how to get started. Use the starter kit video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you have any questions over the video, if you have any questions about the starter kit that I didn't cover, just leave them down below and I will definitely answer those for you. I always try to reply to every comment. And yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.